Yo yo yo, Vemtaz here, and I'm going to show you my main account here that I have up on the screen, Vemtaz, which is the name of my channel. Basically, I think I talked a little bit about this account in the last videos, the one on Razalon and the one on Cyressa, but for this account, I was over in China for almost 6 years, and when I came back from China, I was playing World of Tanks in China. I played a little World of Warcraft. Played some other games. Shards of Deliah was a EverQuest type game. And when I came home, all my family, friends, relatives were all playing Summoner's War. So they all showed it to me, and I'm looking at it on their phone. They're like, "Oh yeah, this." I'm like, "Yeah, it looks like okay." They're explaining to me the runes, stuff like that. I'm like, "Yeah, it looks like Warcraft, World of Warcraft." Orange means legendary. They're like, "How'd you know?" It's like that's how World of Warcraft is. So I wasn't really impressed with the game at all. Everyone was playing it, and they're all talking about it. It's all they ever talked about. So, yeah, in my first couple months I was home, I kind of just played World of Tanks a little bit. I was playing it over in China, and the internet connection over there, it's not totally terrible everywhere, but when you're playing on a North American server, which where my account was, running all the way from China, the latency was really bad. And basically, in that game, every time you're driving your tank around shooting, it was like 3 seconds worth of lag that they got to see you before they saw, even if you saw each other at the same time, they had 3 seconds about to react before I even actually saw them on my screen. So it wasn't the greatest experience playing over there, but I still had fun playing it. So I played that a little bit when I came home, and then, everyone kept talking about Summoner's War, Summoner's War. I started up my WoW account again, played a little bit, but when no one is playing with you and everyone else in your family is playing something else, it's kind of boring to play by yourself. So eventually they showed me more and more, and then they decided, oh, we're going to make you an account. I'm like, okay, great. Here, give me your phone. Okay, here you go. So they make me an account and do all the crap required for that. And then they show me it on my phone. Okay, here's how you do this, and here's how you do this. You got to farm here, and you need it. I have no clue what they're talking about. It's all another language to me. So eventually, I start playing the game. I don't know where to go, so I start just going to the early scenario stuff, like down in here, and I'm just, okay, what do I farm here? This one's not gray, I can farm here, and it's on normal, and I'm doing, I don't know what's going on. I have no clue. So anyways, as time went on, actually the first 4-star I got was Lumericia, and when I pulled her, it was like, oh cool, and I didn't know who she was, what she does, so she became my first 6-star. I 6-starred her first, and she was my farmer, and I would farm the harder, like the Talmor Desert, and farm other things like fire-based ones, and it would take like 3 minutes to farm one or longer, and like hell, it might take 6 minutes, 5-6 minutes. But to me, it was like, well, I'm completing it, I'm not dying, I'm getting the best result I can for the energy. I thought it was like the greatest thing. But later on, you realize it's not the best farmer, and but it wasn't a bad monster to first 6-star. She was a really good healer. And people, I think that was around the time where she was just nerfed to where she wasn't as amazing as she was before. From what I heard before, is she could actually solo Dragons B10, and when you first start off, that's one of your main goals, is to be able to farm, Giants and Dragons B10. And so I thought, wow, this is a great monster. But anyways, so I used her to farm for the longest time. I didn't know what I was doing. But anyways, later on, that's when I started my Razalon account and the Cyressa account, which you guys saw in the other videos if you've watched them. But this was my main account, my first account, and, at that time, Lapis wasn't in the game either. There was no Lapis. I don't think there were any Magic Knights at all, or she just wasn't one of the free monsters they gave you from quests. So, I'll go through the story behind the order of, see, you can see, yeah, I got her apparently before Lapis was either ever in the game, or before they allowed her to be one that you get from doing the quests in the beginning. So on this account, so I'm playing, my family's all playing, I still really don't know what's going on that much, and, my one brother's telling me, oh, this Lulu is great, farm or build up Lulu, Lulu's a really great healer, and I'm, okay, Lulu. Another one's telling me, oh, Rauk is awesome, Rauk's like the best monster, okay, and you're hearing all kinds of different opinions from people, and I'm pretty sure none of them that were playing at the time watched any YouTube videos on the game. So one of the first things I did was started watching YouTube videos. I figured I'm going to go through and figure out what not to do, what not to make mistakes on, and because I'm getting 7 different opinions from all my family, my brothers, my cousin, my nephews, nieces that are playing the game, and I didn't know who to believe or who was right or who, you know. So I went to YouTube and started watching, and I watched some like Claytano videos, Juego, Childish. There was another guy, Nick the Greek. I watched some of his in the beginning too. And I kind of started watching, looking up like Giants B10, Dragons B10, just looking at different comps, early game, way before I should have. But then I also did look up a lot of videos like, mistakes I made when I first started playing Summoner's War, videos like that, kind of like the one I made and posted today, earlier today, which isn't the same time this video is going to be released. But so I kind of did that kind of stuff. I'm like watching a lot of videos and people are, oh, build Shannon, build Bernard, and it's like I'm looking at these monsters. I don't want to put these monsters. I'm not going to build them. So I had Lumericia, and then I watched, I think it was one of Claytano's videos where he's showing a team that was good for Giants B10 and Dragons B10. They could be used for both. So when I saw that, I said, okay, that's a good video, I think, because if I can build the team like he says to, then I can be able to do Dragons and Giants. I don't have to build 5 monsters for this team and 5 monsters for that team. I just build the same ones, save time. So I kind of went off that a little bit. I built Kanamiya. That was one of the monsters I believe that was used in both. I think Bella was one for sure. And I kind of started like building monsters, and then you learn, oh, there's Guild Wars, and you can get Theomars. Everyone wants Theomars, so started doing Guild Wars. Actually, I found a guild which now I actually run. So it's kind of funny because my brother was in a competitive guild, my brother who first started playing out of all of us. And then, I just randomly found a guild. His was all competitive. I was a new account, so I joined this guild, then, slowly introduced, like my nephews wanted to come join it. So I got them in the guild. My other brother who was playing, who wasn't as serious as my younger brother that plays. And, then my cousin started playing down the road. He joined the guild too. So now we're all in the same guild, and I'm actually leading it. But anyways, so, you're going after Theomars and everything else, and I get these Guild Wars, and I have, when you first start off, you have nothing, basically. Lumericia was my only healer. I didn't need, even have Bella or anything like that. To find a secret dungeon monster was like, oh man, so much work. It was so hard to do, and so I just, started playing the game and advancing on, going through, clearing out all the like, scenario stuff in the beginning. And so I think I was around level 35. And it was like 2, 3 in the morning. I'm still playing, and I finished the last scenario. And as I finished the last scenario, you get a mystical scroll. So I popped the mystical scroll. Here comes out some lightning, and it was Vanessa. So I'm like, wow, and of course before I got her, my brothers are telling me how it's, none of them have a Nat 5 except I think my one brother, he does, and they're telling me how it's, you never get them, and they've been play all the time, and I think he had one Nat 5, and it was who was his first Nat 5? I want to say it was Jameer, but I don't think he had Jameer when I first started playing. But either way, he had like one Nat 5, I think it was, and they're always telling me, oh yeah, I've played almost a year, and I've only have one Nat 5, and so it's like I'm level 35 on my account, and boom, here comes out Vanessa, and it's like, wow, okay, cool. What is she? Who is she? And so I look up her abilities. Oh, she's great for the arena, and I'm thinking, early game, you're like, the arena? I care less about the arena, so, but, early game also, oh, a Rezer, oh, great, I got a Rezer, a Rezer you think is the greatest thing when you first start, especially when you're doing all the PvE content, and, so I'm like, all right, so, I had some Devilmons and stuff, and, of course, I maxed her out on Devilmons, and she's all maxed out on Devilmons, and then, at that time, too, I wasn't really... In an early account, it's hard to get high essences, so to awaken her took me a long time, of course. But the funny thing is about maybe, as I start playing the next day, or throughout the night, I got up in the morning, started playing, and it was probably about 20 hours later, almost a full day later, and I hadn't had any other mystical scrolls because, at that size of account, you don't get them often. But so I got another mystical scroll, and it was another event thing. It was like, clearing Giants B7, or I don't think it was that, because that would be a little hard at 35, I think. I don't know, maybe it was, but I think it was one of those like Magic B7 or Water B7, something where it gave you a mystical scroll. And so I opened it up as soon as I got it, and here comes lightning again. And boom, there it is. It's a Ladriel, another Rezer. And I was like, okay, wow. 2 Nat 5s, then it's, right back-to-back scrolls, basically separated by 20 hours. And so that's like, okay, and the funny thing is, when I first pulled Vanessa, all my cousins or not, nephews and nieces and brothers that don't have Nat 5s were all like, oh my God, like, you got a Nat 5 already, because I just started a couple months, maybe a month and a half in. I don't know how long it was. Probably not that long, because I grew pretty quick. And so then, it was funny that, actually before it happened, my nephews and my brother they were going out to vacation to Georgia, I believe. And when we were in the car having this last dinner together, and as they're getting ready to leave, I said, so when you guys are gone, what Nat 5 should I pull? And everyone was big on Chow. So I said, maybe I'll get Chow this weekend, and they're like telling me which ones they think I should get. And I'm joking, because I'm thinking it's never going to happen. It takes like a year to get a Nat 5 is what I was told. So I got Vanessa, so it's funny because my one brother was like really jealous about it. He's like, you've been playing like a month and I've been playing a year. I only have one Nat 5, so I was joking with him, and, it's like, it was funny, and you could tell he was, not unhappy for me, but he was really salty about it. And so then the next day, I got up, like I said, it was late at night when I found this. It was probably, the first time I got it probably was 3 a.m. The next one I pulled was like 20 hours later, maybe like 1 a.m., midnight, somewhere around there. So I played, more that night, went to bed, and I got up in the morning, and I was in my house and up in my kitchen, and my brother who was jealous about the first one came over, and he comes in the house, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And I could tell he hadn't been on Summoner's War, since the night before. So he comes in, and he's talking to me and that, and it's like, pull out my tablet, and I get to the Eladriel picture, and I show it to him, and the look on his face was priceless. I mean, you could just tell it was like, how? Like, what are you doing? And he was very jealous of that too, which was kind of funny, because I think at that time he still only had one Nat 5, and he'd been playing pretty much since the game started. And I've been playing like, a month and a half maybe, and I already have 2 Nat 5s. So, and at that time everyone was big on Eladriel, he's the best Reser, which I don't think he is, but still, it was an angel, everyone wants an Archangel Dragon at that point. So that was my start off to the game. So let's see here. Don't want to bore you with too many details. So you can see Vanessa, got her. And then Eladriel. Let's find him in here. Yep, there's Eladriel. And I remember getting Fuko after a while, and I really was happy with Fuko, because at that time there was a lot of YouTube videos on Fuko and about him farming. People were going like defense, 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 or defense crit damage, defense, or, that kind of build with him where his shield would really reduce the damage he's taking. Or, make him vampire, great farmer, and all this stuff. And he'd be, I remember seeing videos of him soloing like the last scenario boss on the hardest difficulty, and it's like, wow, he's so good. I mean, I still think he's really good. I mean, especially now I use him in Guild Wars, Necropolis, Rift Beasts, and that, and he still does really good. I eventually would like to build him for like maybe Rift 5, because I think he was, with his debuffs, the damage he can do with a good set of runes, I think he'll be really good for there eventually. But right now I'm kind of doing more of a sustain team with my 3 accounts, and it's working out good. But eventually, as you try to increase the speed of your runs and everything, he'll probably be on one of those speed, high damage, 1 healer, teams that I build eventually. So let me think. After I got Eladriel, I'm trying to think who the next was. I don't want to go out of order here. I think it was Hathor, and I pulled her. I think it was soon after the Desert Queens came out, and I got her. And at first I'm like, oh, it's a Desert Queen, but her skill is pretty nice. I mean, her last 2 skills are both nice. This one puts them to sleep for 2 rounds, which is really nice. And it decreases their attack bar. So, I mean, I used her a lot in Guild Wars. I would use her, Bella, and Theomars. And, I put them to sleep, and I'd slowly kill them off one by one with Theomars. And her second skill also puts them to sleep, which is nice too. So, I mean, even if they resist it, you still have that chance to put them back to sleep with that. Or if they come out of sleep, violent proc out of it, which happens. So I pulled her, and another nice little Nat 5. After her, I think I went for a little bit of a dry spell for a while. And let's see. I'm trying to remember the order here. I don't want to tell you wrong. Oh, Brandia. Yeah, I think Brandia might have been before her. I think Brandia was before her. And when I got Brandia, I was like, oh, cool. It was like my 3rd Nat 5. I remember that now. And, I actually, it looks like I got pretty good luck with her Devilmons. I got her skill. No, okay, this one's not maxed out. I wanted to max out her 3rd skill, and I got it to max out without any going into the 1st skill, it looks like. And then, like I said, when I first started playing, I got her. I'm like, great, I got Brandia, and all excited. And then, you realize that she's not really, I mean, she wasn't terrible, but she really wasn't as good as some of the other Nat 5s you could pull. And she just recently got buffed as of September 2017, but before that she was kind of like storage, you know. And I tried to use her in R5 and it didn't work too bad, but it was, again, they had changed her third skill, at which I think it did more damage before, and then they changed it to where it put the target to sleep for 2 rounds. You know, it didn't have this part on there at all. So she still wasn't like really useful. I mean, now I got her set up for R5. See, I got more hit points on her, so she can take a better beating, and she usually leads my team's damage for R5. So at least now she is more useful. But when I first got her, it was kind of like, you read the comments, everyone's like, "Don't bother, don't put any Devilmons in this monster, you'll regret it." And you know, but early in the game like that, it's like all you have is Devilmons and no Nat 5. So you know, as soon as you get one, you're excited, like I did with Vanessa, and just maxed her out, maxed out Eladriel too. You know, just it's a Nat 5, I have to max it out. I have all these Devilmons waiting, you know. So. But after I got Brandia, that's when I got Hathor. Hathor helped me a lot in Guild Wars. Brandia actually helped me a lot in Guild Wars because, you know, with Vanessa and Eladriel, you go into Guild Wars, it's always Chasen and Theo, and you know, it was always a Chasen there, or there's always a Bella, and it was like I had 2 good support Nat 5s, but I didn't have anybody to do any damage, you know. So I'd get in these teams and they couldn't kill me, but I couldn't kill them. So it was kind of like, man, I need something to kill Chasen. I need something to kill Chasen. So when I got her, it was a nice little counter to Chasen. I mean, I still couldn't kill Chasens very easily, but you know, if I got enough debuffs on them, yeah, or a nice defense break, she could hit pretty hard and take out a Chasen. So I wasn't too unhappy to have her, but it's a little better nowadays. Then after that, I got Hathor. Like I said, I used her a lot in Guild Wars, and I actually used her on my arena defense for a while. She was like the first arena defense comp that I had that actually got me to Conqueror 2. And yeah, I ran Vanessa, Eladriel, Hathor, and then Theo. And that defense held off too many people attacking me, or if they did attack me, usually I would get a win and then a defeat. So they would realize, because I had her, she was like my fastest monster at that point. I made her the fastest one I had. So they would think they would outspeed her, but then she would just, you know, with Vanessa lead than her, she would, you know, outspeed a lot of teams. And I think she put him to sleep, and then my team just, you know, wrecked him. So it worked out pretty good. And then I switched her to different runes and went more with a typical speed booster, attack bar booster, I mean. And then she kind of, I mean, I still use her. I still use her in Guild Wars. I use her in some of the TOA levels where it's really nasty and you want to have everything CC'd. She's really good for that too. She's actually better with a violent set on that, but for what I'm using right now, Swift is working out pretty good. I do actually want to test her. Like I have Azaria also on this account. I have Arya, and I also pulled the dark one. I'm not sure what her name is. It's like Isabel or something like that. I don't know if I have her sitting out here. Let me check. I think she's in storage. Oh, there's a way to check. Let's do this. Collection. I recently pulled the dark one. Well, recently could be 2-3 months ago. I just haven't done much with her yet. There she is. What's her name? Isael. Okay. I got her, so I'm thinking, you know, eventually with Hathor, her, what's her name? Azaria. Okay. Those 3 with another, I don't know, speed boost or something, or who knows, because Azaria is a 25 or 20. What is she? 24% attack speed arena leader. So maybe I can come up with some comp like that where Arya can AoE stun them, sleep them, you know, or no, I mean, Hathor sleeps them, then they just go nuts on, you know, a certain monster, finishing them off one by one. Or if you know, Hathor has to attack, then just re-sleep them. Like I said, it's a thought, but this third ability has me a little intrigued. Everyone I read about says that she sucks, but it says attacks without waking up the enemy, which they all do that, the skills, to deal damage proportionate to their max hit points and disturbs their hit points for 2 turns with a 75% chance. So I'm thinking if I build her really attack, crit damage, attack, that third ability that works off max HP, you know, you come into a comp with like Ritesh, Kumar, which you find those all the time, and, you know, big HP, high HP monsters that she might be able to come in there and just own them, you know, or at least knock them down really far and then slowly pick them off with between Azaria, her, and, you know, somebody else, that a third monster that might be a good single target damage, like Brandia even. You know, they have you know, sleep on them, stuns, or whoever else, you know, to hit point disturb, that's more debuffs, you know, but just come up with some kind of comp that might work, you know, for fun. But, so that's something I plan on doing in the future. So that's Brandia, and then after Brandia, after Hathor, try to see who I got here next. I believe it was Triton. And Triton, I was actually happy to get him at first. I was like, wow, I got this great monster, and he's going to be able to strip off. You always find Chloe in the arena, and Chloe puts up her buffs, and then you're kind of stuck. They just go to town on you. Without a stripper, it really sucks. So I thought about starting to build TOAH, because TOAH was one that everyone's like, well, she's a good stripper to get if you haven't pulled an At5. So I started working on her. I just made her like 5-star, or I was going to make her a 6-star, and I pulled Triton. So I was like, great. So I put on a set of Despair runes on him, and I don't know if it's bad RNG or but he just, every time I brought him, I regretted it, because, here we go, Chloe put up her buffs, and I would use his third ability, and not one got stripped. And then then it's like a 3 with Triton versus 4, and I'd get beat, or I'd get up there and he'd do it, and maybe 1 gets stripped off a monster that didn't even matter. And then it's like, so it was just like, the RNG was really, really bad, or it just, I had high accuracy on him. I don't know what was wrong with it, but, see, I maxed out his skill. I was like, well, skill's maxed. I got fastest cooldown on it, and he just, like I said, I had good runes on him, and I just was really disappointed with him. I just thought he'd be, I'm sure there's people that, I watched people, like, I think it was Claytano used him, Nightly Gaming would use him all the time on his thing, and they worked great for them, but when I used him, it was just, I almost regretted it. I did regret it, actually. It was like almost every time I brought him, it went south. And I said, you know what, screw it. I'm done with him, basically. And I just went with the other teams and tried to outspeed him. With Vanessa and that, I would just try to outspeed him. If I outsped him, great, I'd kill him. If they outsped me, it's like, okay, they probably got this one. And that's how I went through with my arena battles. But, so then later on, let's see, after him, trying to stay in order here. Yeah, after him, I believe it was Chiwu. Let me make sure I don't have any water ones that I'm forgetting here. Oh yeah, it is. There's a couple I forgot that I got before him. I believe I got Bastet next. And Bastet, I was like, oh, another Desert Queen. So I'm like, alright, now I got 2 Desert Queens. And she actually was better when I first pulled her than she is now, because this skill here, this second skill, it attacks all the enemies 3 times, decreases their defense, increases their chance for glancing, and hit point discovery. This thing worked great. I would use it and bam, 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 debuffs on them. And now I use it, and it's like almost everybody has like resistance against it. It was like really powerful at first. Now I think they beyond over nerfed it. It says 50% chance, but there is no way it's 50% chance. If it is, then it's a cruel joke. Because even on like a fire monster, I'll hit them, and a lot of times it does nothing, not 1 debuff, or maybe 1 debuff. And that makes no sense. I think it was overpowered where it just went on everybody before. So now I don't know if they made it elemental specific, or just the chance is a lot lower than but it does not work anywhere near what it did before. So now the second skill, I don't even use it unless there's nothing else to do. So, but her other skill here is really nice. She's an attack bar booster, and she does it by 25%, which is nice. And she also makes a shield and attack power increase on your monsters. So you get that up before the defense gets to go. That shield is very powerful. They have to really break through that shield to get even to you. And then the attack bar boost is really nice too. It gives you, I use it on my Devolution team. I use it on almost any arena team that I bring. I try to bring her in there if I can fit her. Unless I'm bringing Galleon to do the defense break. She's really good. I use her I was using her in R5 for a while, and she's really good there also. Just pretty much anywhere you take her, you get that shield up, you're almost guaranteed to withstand their first beating. They're not going to one-shot anybody on your team, pretty much. So she's got a really nice. She's basically a buffed Megan, except Megan still has that second skill, which can strip buffs and not allow them to put on any beneficial effects. So that Megan is overall better for against arena. That's where Megan's still a little better, is countered arena. But again, if you're going after arena and you got Devolution and you got her and she puts up her attack bar buff, that kind of compensates. Your double, or your God, I'm drawing a blank here. When you have her with that attack power buff, Lucian's amputation magic is going to cut through that shield. Even if it's not the first, the second, the third, that third and fourth card are probably going to cut through most of them. And you're rolling double Lucian, you're going to get her down. It might take a little longer, but it's going to happen. So I still don't worry about seeing arena in the arena or Guild Wars, because, well, Guild Wars is a little different because you only have one Lucian. You can still do it, it just takes longer. But yeah, she was a really good monster I got, and I was really happy with her. And I think the next Nat 5 I believe I got was Annabelle. And my brother had Annabelle, so when I pulled her, it was like, all right, cool. That's, he would use his Annabelle as a rep monster for, certain battles or certain, like when it was Hall of Heroes, he'd put her up there, and I got to use her, and I liked her, of course. So I pulled her, and I was like, oh, great. Now I got another healer. You always want healers. You're always looking for a Chasen in the beginning. You're always looking for like Ariel. Everyone wants Ariel too. So I pulled her, and I was like, all right, cool. And I really didn't give her great runes for a while because, Violent, she's on Violent, of course, but her runes now are pretty nice. I had too many other monsters that needed Violent, so she was basically getting my leftover scrub runes, which didn't do her justice. I did max her out, of course, with Devilman's, but here's what she's at now. I got her at speed, HP with decent attack subs. So right now she's sitting around 30k HP, a little over 30k HP, still almost 1500 attack and 210 speed, along with resistance. So right now I'm trying to use her, or in the future I plan to use her as my only healer for our 5 team. And with that cleanse and the healing and being fast and being, I'm hoping that she can handle it. When I say only, I still have the Panda in the front. So the Panda's going to do his little heal over time too. And eventually I may bring Bastet into there. Right now she's not on the team. If I bring Bastet in there, with Bastet's shield, attack power, and I think that's going to really help her too. So that may be a change I make. Those 3 monsters, then bring 3 really good attack monsters. That might be a team that I go with in the future. But like again, I have a stable team right now, and I'm just slowly looking at ways I can change it. But she was a very nice monster to get. After that, I had never gotten anything from Stones. I think I totally forgot Leo on Razalon. Oh well, I'll have to put that in the comments too. But Razalon had gotten, it was actually New Year's this year, and it was New Year's night, and I forget who it was. Lucian was in the Stones, and on my Razalon account, I was like really trying to get Lucian because I still don't have Lucian even to today. I still have not pulled 1 Lucian on that account. My other accounts have double, triple Lucian, but Razalon still has no Lucian. So I had spent all my stones and didn't get him. Then it was like the end of the guild or arena week on New Year's, or around New Year's or something. I might be mistaken on my details, but anyways, I looked at the account and I had 50 of 50 summoning stones. So on the Razalon account, I'm like, all right, let me try for Lucian one more time, and Lightning came up, and I got Leo instead. So that was my first Nat 5 from the scam stones. So then I saved my stones. Because I really wanted to get Chiwu, because I wanted somebody for like arena defense. Fire monster, and I saw him in the stones. I'm like, I'm gonna save for him. So I saved for him for a long time, and what happened was I had all these stones. Monday came around, he was in the stones, and I started summoning, and I got nothing. So I'm like, well, all those stones, and he's gone. I was like, I really hate scam stones. I'm tired of them. I hated it. They aggravated me because you're expecting to get something, and it was just crap. You never get anything. So later in the week again, we had like gotten the stones from the Saturday. Saturday night the arena ends. You get your stones like an hour later. So I had I think enough for like 3 more summons. I summoned the first one. I got a 4-star something. I forget which one it was in the rotation. Then nothing, and the last one, Chiwu came up. So out of the Nat 5s that I wanted, it was him, and I got him. So it was kind of cool because rarely you get what you're trying for, especially with scam stones. That's like the one time I actually got something. I went in there actively chasing it and got it. So I pulled Chiwu, and I was like, all right, great. Triton, go to hell. I didn't care about Triton anymore. I'm like, took his runes off, threw him in storage. I got runes on him now, but I really don't use him, to be honest. And Chiwu is just great. He's good against Theo. He's good against Chloe's. He's good against everything. I got him on, like I said, let's see what he's got here. He's on Despair Will and, Speed HP, I'm pretty sure. And I use him for a lot of stuff. A lot of times I use him in Guild Wars. Oops. I use him in Guild Wars. I'll use him in, get back to him there. I use him in Arena. If you see a Chloe team or you think they might be faster than you and they got some kind of a, someone's going to put up a shield on them, like a Wusa or a Chloe or anybody. You bring him, they put their shield up, great, you just take it down. Or at least you have a chance to take it down. It's like You know, still RNG, but he has the attack speed lead, which is nice. And that second skill of his is really good. Like a lot of times, if it is like say it's what's his name? Say it's like a Theo, Megan, Chloe, and Theo. Or I think it's Theo already. Chasen. Okay. So the threat in that one is basically Theo. So what I'll do is with Chiwu, I'll use the second skill on Theo, and that puts up that, you know, the same skill Megan has. It doesn't let them put on any beneficial buffs. So even if Chloe goes off, puts up her shields, Megan puts up her shields, he still doesn't have it. So then my Lucian, you know, I try to either kill him with the Lucian or, you know, then strip again with Chiwu with a third skill, and just destroy the Lucian. You only have to kill, or no, the Theo. You only have to kill him one time because he doesn't get his Endure. So I use him a lot for that. I use a Delphoy like that too. Delphoy's second skill is good at killing Theos also. So after I pulled him, I was like, all right, cool, really cool. So then I'll try to keep the order correct again. I don't want to say it wrong here, but let me go back here and look. I don't think there's a way to tell without guessing. I think the right order here. Okay, so then after that, I believe it was when the unicorns came out, you know, so everyone was after the unicorns, and everyone was chasing unicorns. I like to say that. But, so, you know, I had actually done a couple summoning packs too, trying to get one the one night, and of course I didn't get anything. A lot of people were trying and getting summoning or premium packs, and people in my guild were too. And it's like, okay, like 2-3 weeks later, it was like, all right, and it didn't happen. So then I was keeping track of my summons and that, and so the one night I open up a mystical scroll, and boom, lightning, Amelia. So out came the water unicorn, which from what I read and heard about and everything was like the best one. That and the light one. So she's really nice too. I mean, she doesn't have runes to do her justice right now. I used to have her really, really fast and really, really tanky, but because I'm trying to make Annabelle my lone healer for R5, a lot of her better runes came off to Annabelle. You know, because right now my main focus is trying to get a better R5 team, and, you know, regularly farm dragons, giants, and that, and then like if I'm busy doing stuff, just have them all running R5 and just farming it together like as one group. It's a lot easier to pay attention to 3 accounts when they're all doing the same thing. They're all ending at the same time. They're all, you know, together. So, and of course, you know, your runes can benefit a lot from R5 drops. So that's my main concern right now. So she has okay runes, not the best, but again, in time, I'll be able to find her some better ones. Speed HP, not even maxed out all the way, and a 5-star. Yeah, but it'll improve in time. You know, but then after I pulled her, this was all like in 1 month period, okay? I had pulled Chiwu from the stones, and it was like a week later I got Amelia. And then I had a... this is the funny part. You know, I had a legendary scroll, and then I had gotten another legendary scroll. You know, like I was really close on pieces or something like that, and I got one from TOAH 100, and then I had one that had the pieces for it. So the first TOAH scroll I opened, and this was like, you know, maybe a week after I got Amelia, a week and a half. And out came Leica. And even though he was recently nerfed, at the time when I got him, I was extremely happy, because it was like, you know, I still wanted a Chow, to be honest, but I mean, a Leica is a lot of fun too. And so I got him, I'm like, oh, cool. It's a fun monster, you know, useful monster. And then, like, just this last week, they nerfed him. So, and is he still okay? He's an okay monster now, in my opinion. I mean, he's not, there's worse Nat 5s to pull. But, you know, like I said in my other video about them nerfing Rakan, which you can check on my page too, they took away the stun from him, which is that was like the best thing about him. That was what made him lethal. Not his damage, not his, you know, it just made it that his CC was great, you know. And when they took that CC away, it just became, okay, now he's just a damage dealer that you can easily kill with a multi-hit skilled monster. So he became this threat that, oh man, I don't want to attack him because he's going to stun me, and he's going to screw up my whole synergy, to now, oh, just kill him. All right, next. And they don't get that, you know. They changed him for RTA, and it screwed him over the rest of the game. So now they're kind of making him, it looks like more of a PvE monster. Here, we'll give him a dot, and yeah, it's all better. No. You guys are wrong. So, right now he's got leftover runes, and I after, you know, the way I had him built like tanky, and, you know, I had him like HP, attack, crit damage. So he could take a beating, Because still, I mean, even before the nerf, he was easily countered. You know, because people build him usually like YOLO, where he has low hit points. So you bring in a Theo, bam, 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 he's gone. You bring in, you know, Alicia, pff, he's gone. You bring in Julie, he's gone. You know, but if when you had more hit points, you know, he could sustain that hit and at least have a chance to vampire back with his revenge and heal up a little bit, or, you know, your healer has a chance to heal him where he's not one-shotted. You know, his passive is supposed to protect him from that, but it doesn't. Multi-hit skills can still easily take him out, and especially the way people build him. So I had mine HP, crit damage, HP, or I mean, attack. He had some good HP, so he would be able to stay alive long enough to get those stuns off, to screw up your synergy, and to be effective. That's what you want your monsters to be. You want them to be useful, not useless. And now that they changed it, I just said screw it, and I threw all attack, crit damage, attack, and I just don't care. I bring them in. If I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. And I'm like, whatever. You just took the fun out of them. Thank you, Comp to us. So, poor Leica. Was a great monster. Easily counterable, so I don't know why people complained. Again, it was RTA. People in RTA said, oh, he was the most picked monster, and he's the one that everybody wants because his stun is so great. Okay, well, why change it in the whole game and screw him up for the whole game instead of just changing him for RTA like they did the Violent Runes? I mean, I said this in the video. You can watch it and see. It's a perfect fix to this. If anybody watches this or links this to a popular YouTuber that would like to get that information to Comp to us, since I listen to them sometimes, you know, it'd be a great way to fix him and bring him back to life for the players that Devilmon the hell out of him like I did. If you look at his skills, they're all, I mean, as soon as I got him, it was like, all right, instant max, instant full Devilmons. You know, he's, like I said, he's still okay. There's worse monsters to pull, but they just changed the whole thing about him. You know, like I said in the other video also, you know, take away that from Rakan, take away his collapse, and then what is he? You know, take away like a stun. What is he now? He's not a threat, and that's what they changed him to. I mean, he can still kill, he can still, but so can Rakan. You know, Rakan still has his collapse. Rakan's still very viable. Without his stun, he's kind of like, okay, kill him first, and then don't worry about it. He's done, he's gone. So anyways, moving on. The next legendary scroll I opened up was like maybe a few days later after I did the one from TOA. It was like, I had like 85 pieces or something, and I had gotten enough from the shop, you know, just randomly finding them. Pop it open, and boom, out comes Perna. So I was like, wow, Perna, you know, another good monster to get, and she's really nice. The problem was, after pulling Chiwu, and then, you know, I maxed out his... I didn't max out his skill. I thought I did. Okay, I threw the Devilmons that I had for him at the time, and it wasn't enough, you could see. But Leica, I definitely maxed him out right away. Amelia... I must have got Amelia before Chiwu, because if I think I did. Yeah, I think I pulled Amelia before, because I instantly maxed her out. I had a ton of Devilmons at the time, because I had gone for a long streak of no nat 5s. So Chiwu didn't get maxed out there. I maxed out Amelia, I maxed out Leica, and then Perna came and I had like 2 Devilmons, 1 or 2. So I did something that's crazy to the normal man or woman. What I did was I basically started building Sigmarises. And, you know, as free to play, you can't, you know, buy Devilmons, obviously. You can't farm Devilmons, but you can farm fusions to make monsters that go into making Sigmars, that create Sigmars, who then you feed to your Perna, and it acts as a Devilmon. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of essences, but that's pretty much what I did. And I didn't finish it. I mean, I'll show you the skills here now. Her third skill, still off by 2. Second skill is maxed, and that's the one I was really trying to max out, to be honest. This one's 2 skills, so I still need 4 Devilmons. But all of those skill ups you see, there's 2 there, 4 there, that's 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 8 skill ups into my Perna, and 2 of those were Devilmons. So I've made 6 Sigmarises and fed them to her already, and I'm on the way to making another one. So I mean, the way I looked at it is, I can't get it up. I can't buy Devilmons. I'm not going to buy Devilmons, not on this account, and I can farm skill ups by farming Sigmars. As I farm Sigmars, I have to do magic, I have to do water, wind, fire, all the ones to get the monsters to make Sigmars, and all the essences that go into awaken all those monsters, which is a lot. But while you do that, you're making mana, you're making mana stones, you're making, you know, 2-star Rainbow Mons, 3-star Rainbow Mons you're getting, You're getting unknown scrolls, you're getting mystical scrolls occasionally. So it is time counterproductive, and it's probably not the best way to go about it, but it does give me a way to start Devilmoning up my Perna without having to wait for the weekly Devilmon from the shop or for events and stuff like that. So, and the other thing is too, we're having a Guild War summon at the end of the month, well, at the beginning of next month, which is October 1st. And I have a lot of stuff saved up on all my accounts, and I'm saving up even more. So I would hate to throw all the Devilmons that I have to max out Perna, and then all of a sudden I pull out this really great monster from a Light and Dark scroll, hopefully come to us if you're listening, or just from a water, wind, fire, a regular mystical scroll, and get some really valuable monster, and I have no Devilmons. You know, that would drive me crazy. So I'm still trying not to spend mine. I can look and see how many I have right now, but that's why I'm still kind of doing this. But I did give her like 2 Devilmons in the last month or 2 because I really wanted that second skill maxed. So let me go look at my storage here and see what we got in there, Devilmon wise. Oh, and with the Dark Homunculus too, that just came out, and I wanted to get that 3rd skill max, which I did, because I haven't been spending, like I told you, I didn't spend my Devilmons until I finished that up. Man, I got too much in storage, as you can see. So I'm currently sitting at, well, actually I got a lot more than I thought. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I've been saving for a while, basically just building them up for Perna. So I could max her out now, but again, you know, my Chiwu skills aren't maxed yet. I could put some more in there. My let's get here to my Homunculus. See, I maxed out the 3rd skill, which is really the most important one too. Bees could take it in time if I have surplus of Devilmons, sure, why not? Chiwu could probably use a couple more. I do use them a lot, but I mean, with Chiwu again, usually it's strip them, kill them with Devolution, and it's over. So if that first one doesn't go, if he lives by the time to get the second one off, then the battle's gone really, really bad, or it's really, you know, it's going to be used very little. So I'm hoping to pull something that's worthwhile, like Light and Dark, hopefully, or, you know, just a regular good Nat 5 that I can use for that. So, storing up those still. Let me see if I missed anybody here. Water Homunculus I use for TOA. Beretta I use for TOA, of course. And if you look at my guy's skills, I've made and fed tons of Berettas to him to max him out. With my Lucians also. Let me see. I think my Theo's max. One of my Theos I believe is maxed. The other one is not. Yeah, one Theo's maxed. The other's not. Let's see. Beretta I maxed out with making more Berettas. You know, Colleen of course is maxed. He's not maxed. He's nowhere near it. Chloe should be. Panda's not. No. Chiwu we looked at already. Of course, he's maxed. Fuko isn't maxed, but his main skill, the second one, oh, it's still not. Wow, I still need to get another one in him. 2 Devilmons away. This skill, I love it. It hits. It's like Perna's. Once you get, I mean, it just, this one here. 3 turns, 1 more Devilmon or 1 more skill up in him. That's a 2-turn, and this thing hits, especially when it's one monster standing there. He hits so hard with that, and it trashes stuff. So I really like it, and I really like Fuko. I mean, he's because of my violent shortage, his runes aren't great. He's probably at crit rate, I think, on that one. Yeah, he needs much better runes, and he's a deserving monster, in my opinion. My Lucians, I maxed them both out with making a bunch of JoJos. A lot of JoJos. I've made so many JoJos, you wouldn't believe me if I told you how many. Because I've maxed completely maxed 2 Lucians, and I've completely maxed Leebly, who I didn't show you yet, but he's coming up here. But Brian, I mean, this is a huge, I mean, it's 1 round, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it'd be much nicer to have that maxed out. I'd like to max him out eventually. I'm hoping a Hall of Heroes, or maybe they'll make one of these as part of the fusion. As you can see, I've gotten really bad luck. They've all gone to the first skill, which is not good. Yeah, see, this is my second Lucian. He's all maxed out too, all by making JoJos. And I'll explain something to you with my 2 Lucians. You look at this one here. I recently changed them. They were speed, crit damage, attack, but now that I use Purin, who's the water Inferno, they're not as fast. I mean, they're still fast because they have to go in be speed tuned that way. But now I don't worry. Before they were 100% crit rate. But now I have them, because Purian buffs their crit rate also. So I basically lowered their crit rate, increased their like attack power, their crit damage, stats like that to make them really hard hitting. Before I would just kind of outspeed them and both my Lucians would go. They did decent damage, but not damage that's going to really just drop them in the first wave. So I'm experimenting with that, and it's working okay. So my first Lucian is like that. The second Lucian, you can see attack power is a lot less, and he's got willpower. Because what happens is when you fight Samath, the first Lucian will go and hit and kill him, and then he comes back and he stomps everybody with his AoE, and if you don't have willpower on, there's a good chance he's getting stunned. So with the second Lucian, you really don't want him stunned, because if he gets stunned, it's pretty much whoever is left alive is going to heal or take their turn. And if it's a Theo, bam, bam, take out your one Lucian, then of course he's going to violent proc in once or twice and then kill your other Lucian and whoever else is alive. So having him on willpower is very important, and that saves you more times than I could remember. So that's why he's on willpower, and he goes second and hits really hard. His runes still need powered up. This one's, I'm working on that one too. But yeah, it's a lot of skill ups. Delphoi, that's another monster I maxed. The runes right now aren't, like I said, I used up didn't use them all up, but I pretty much used most of mine. I made a ton of water Undines, the Miniki, to max out her skills too. Darian I kind of brought back from the dead recently here. I had him built, and I had built up my Diaz and put all my runes out of Diaz. It just, in R5, he just seems to die so much. I don't understand why. I mean, he's got decent, he's got pretty good stats, but he still is like the first one to die almost every time. And I just don't get it. So my Kabila is built more for the Dark Homunculus, or the Dark Rift Beast, but right now I really don't need to farm it, so I may change her back eventually. She's in there just basically to do damage, multi-hit, and she does really good damage with that second skill. Amin, he does have runes. Okay, he's holding runes. He used to be a key monster for me when I first played. He was like my first monster that was able to help me beat Dragons B10. I ran like him, Aladriel, Kanamia, Lumericia, and Vermos. I think that was my team. It took forever, but I had enough healing and enough that they could do it. So he was like a really stable to my first breaking into Dragons B10. Lynn, I've recently built her up some and took her runes off this last rune removal, as you can see. I was trying to use her in R5, but she's so squishy, and she needs a lot. I mean, she needs really, really good runes to live there. This is one of my more recent pulls. I pulled her probably about 2 months ago when I had this mass summoning thing I did with my accounts, rage summoning. She was the only good thing that came out of it besides the shear, which I still haven't really worked on him. I have her built right now for like, well, she needs better runes also. I mean, she still dies in R5 at times, but she needs better runes. I got her right now as Vampire. I mean, I can power this one up. It's going to help some too. It's got some good substats, but she's eventually going to be a good frontline monster. She just needs a little help on her runes still. And of course, with her, you can farm the wind, the Kung Fu Girl. So of course, I farmed up a bunch of wind Kung Fu Girls to feed to her to get her up to max. So that's another one that by doing fusions, you can build up your monsters. Leebly, I ended up pulling him a long time ago, and he's a fun monster. I mean, it's hard to get usefulness out of him because, without a CR, it's like you gotta fight comps that don't cleanse or that don't have a Vermos, and you see Vermos a lot, especially in the arena that I fight, and if it's not him, then you got cleansers in there. And, so I mean, he's got really good attack power. I got him. When his bombs go off, they do a lot of damage, and that revenge is really cool too. I'm just really hoping to get a Ciara sometime in the future, because then it'll make him, oh man, I love my arena team. I'll be living the arena. I mean, I still live there now because I have to, but I mean, he's gonna be a lot of fun. I use him in Guild Wars a lot of times too. If there's no Vermos, or I'll bring a comp where I bring Aladriel, him, and Chloe, and Chloe will get the buffs up on us, and then he'll put the bombs on. And a lot of times the monsters love to attack him. They'll attack him, he'll revenge back. They'll attack him again, he'll revenge back. And every time he revenges back, he is, you can see it brings down, I think it's passive, says it. Trying to find it here, 1 second. There we go. Counterattacks the enemy to inflict damage proportionate to your attack power. So it's not a true counter, because a true counter would also do the hit point disturb. And it says the attack power according to attack power, and decreases the skill down or skill cooldown when you're attacked. So say he has got like, you know, this skill takes 4 turns. So you hit him, he attacks you back. Now it takes only 3 turns if you just used it. Another monster attacks him and hits him back. He hits back, now it takes 2 turns. And one more monster hits him back, 1 turn. So his next turn, he can throw bombs up on you again. You know, so you go into a guild war or teams where there's a lot of like a Bella or a, you know, Darien, and they attack him, and he just gets more bombs on him, and then at his attack power, you can see it's really high. I mean, I got really good attack power runes on him, and the skill gets a 50% accuracy buff to it, so he's at 51% accuracy, so he's got the best accuracy he can get, and he's a fun monster. I just really wish I had a Cyressa for him. I thought about building a Karak or Carrick, whatever you call him, the fire pirate captain, but I don't know. It only sets off 1 bomb, which I could still use. I could use a team with that character. I may in the future. So right now, with 3 accounts, you're never really bored. You always have something to work on. You're always building this or farming this fusion monster to build another skill up for your, you know, Kung Fu Girl or whatever you're building at the time. So, you know, but he's a monster I should be using more. I really don't do it as much as I should. I mean, I've heard that he's a good farmer. Like, even if you put, like, Vampire on him, because he, you know, revenge is back, and he'd be fun that way, too. But, you know, I basically use the Water Homunculus for farming, and he does it just fine, so I don't need him as a farmer. I want to get the benefit out of his bombs and his skill set in a better scenario, better setting than that. Jultan I recently got. I gave him some beefy runes with no speed, of course. I use Manchura a lot. He's great for TOA. And I pulled him, I would say, about 5 months ago, maybe. TOAH, and he's good, but you really need him to be really, really fast. And like I said, I mean, I've been working on more like my TOA hard. I not this month, but the last month rotation of TOA hard was the first month I ever beat it on my accounts, and I beat it on all 3 of my accounts, and all of them for the first time. So that's pretty good because I've been trying to keep my accounts all like the same power. This month currently I'm stuck on 93 hard. That's the one where it's got Ragdolls and Leo, and basically almost every video I watch where someone's actually beating it, they're using Akasha and Michelle, which is like the Light Undine, and, you know, Michelle, the Epicon Priest, the Wind Epicon Priest, to basically put immunity up on, or invincibility up on, like, Beretta, and let Beretta dot them to death, and they just, you know, it's kind of like a trick to do it, so I don't think there's even a really way to beat it unless you have godly runes and RNG perfectly goes in your favor and you stun them every time and dot them every time. It's like almost impossible to. So, but Diaz, I got him from the second Hall of Heroes that came around, and like I said, I was using him in R5, but I just recently, because of the changes to Darien, gave him back to Darien. And like I said, I'm testing it out, but Darien's still dying more than he should, which I don't get it, but I guess maybe he just needs better runes. Diaz didn't seem to be dying as much, and I like the fact that Diaz has the hit point disturb. You know, that's a very important skill, or skill to have. So I may end up switching it back to him and testing it out and seeing if my team goes more smoothly. But currently it's on him. And I got the Dark Homunculus here. I made her up, and like I showed you before, her skill 3 is max. This skill is really great for TOA. It's really nice. I mean, nice other places too. I just 6-starred him a couple days ago. I did double experience. I didn't plan to, but you know, I mean, his skills are going to do more damage being maxed. He's still not even skilled up. I kind of just decided to make him a little bit ago, so I haven't farmed enough the fire infernos from the scenario to feed him up to skill him up all the way. But he's actually working out pretty good with my current Lucians. Is more beef, more attacky, crit damage, less crit rate, and he basically skills it up, or compensates for it here. So he does the attack bar 50%, so they can be slower, and then he increases the crit rate, so they can have less crit rate too. So that allows them to get rid of that speed rune in slot 2, and then go, well, I think one of mine still has a speed rune because the runes just didn't work out. But my first solution that goes, he's got attack, crit damage, attack, and he hits really good. So it's made a big difference. My first Lucian usually kills everybody or almost kills them, and the second Lucian usually cleans it up pretty good. I just also 6-starred Azaria here recently. I was going to wait till I had all the... What I normally do is I make all the skill ups by doing more fusion fire succubuses and then eventually feeding her up, but I had so many 5-star rainbow mounts sitting in my storage. I'm trying to kind of make room for our upcoming summoning session. So because of that, I just made her 6-star, and I'm going to just feed him to her as I make him. Shaolin, I'm thinking of making her too. I'm working on it. I'm gonna also farm some Kung Fu Girls from Fusion also, because I hear that she's really good in R5 too. So if I do go for like, you know, a Bastet, Fire Panda, and Annabelle, and then go 3 attackers, maybe I'll go the light Kung Fu Girl, the dark Kung Fu Girl, and then Brandia, or something like that. You know, go with a combination like that. Or maybe try to get Liebly in there to get some bombs. I mean, I don't know. There's many different options I can go with, but I'm probably going to work on her too, because I guess she's good for speed Dragons B10 teams also. And, you know, it's from what I hear is everybody that built her is really happy with her. They're really happy with her damage. And here's Michelle I'm working on because of the TOA. This guy I pulled from a Wish, and everything I read about him says he sucks. This skill sounds like it's really good, but from what I read in the comments, I mean, I haven't tested it, so they could be full of crap and I don't know, or they could be truthful about it. They basically said that, you know, at the start of the fight, the attack speed of the lowest attack speed will be increased according to your level. So you're thinking, okay, if he has got like 230 speed and my Theo has 0 speed and he's got like attack crit damage attack with, you know, 4,000 attack and 250% crit damage, he's going to hit like a truck, and he's going to have 230 speed also. No, from what I read in the comments and from what I read online, they said basically, see where it says increases to your level, according to your level, means, okay, whatever yours is, they give you the difference, but it's only at a cap, it's capped at like 50 speed. So if your Lucian had 0 speed, or your Theo had 50 speed, it would only put it to 150. So is it worth it to bring a monster like him to boost up the speed a little bit on a monster when the rest of his... he just doesn't see that great. I mean, he's got a resurge kind of skill here. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he's that worth building. So, and especially when I got so many other things to work on. Here's Akasha. And again, you see a lot of these monsters I'm working on here are either for the Kung Fu Girl or for Minikeys, or as these two here for another Sigmaris for my Perna. You know, slowly working on that still too. And that's basically what I got in there. So that's pretty much my monster box. I'll go to my storage a little bit, show you in there. Well, let's check the guild or the shop first. And I always buy these because I always use them all the time. I always buy the non-awakened or the like silver star ones because I'm always needing food. And click those. My arena wings are full. We'll go do a couple arena matches to show you some teams here. Alright, refresh. Beginning of the week, I forgot, I switched to my phone so it doesn't have my teams on here. Well, we'll do this one anyway. I'll go with the team that I normally go. So let me get my... Let's see... Bastet. And then Double Lucian. This is my normal... If I like, she's fast, but chances are, I mean, he could be really fast because that's how he's built in RTA. So he may go ahead of them and stun them and really screw up the whole thing. But we'll try. If it works, we'll bring a different team. This is my normal go-to team. Now, if I'm afraid that he's going to go before me, I would take her out and bring a Vanessa. So if it doesn't work, we'll try Vanessa first. Unless they're, I mean, right now I usually leave my arena defense at 1 monster. And it starts to drop down. But today's Monday, so my arena team was up all the way till this morning, like till 1 p.m. maybe, because I didn't change it. I forgot to. So right now I'm probably facing better arena teams, but I'm thinking this one probably isn't, since these are only 35, but maybe it's to trick you. So we'll try it. I'm probably overthinking it, but if I'm not, you'll see what's going to happen. It's going to go really bad for me. So, and you can see on my other accounts while I'm talking and doing this video, I'm farming some Rift Beasts with my other 2 accounts. See, so I'm always farming something. Okay, yeah, this is just, I really overthought this one. So see, he does that 50% attack bar, gives them the attack crit rates and the 50%, which is really nice. And then Bastet gives them the attack power buff and the shield, or buff and the shield. So we'll slow it down here and show you what my first Lucian hits pretty good. So focus your thought or your mind on him. He'll probably do the most damage against him or her. Yeah, see, about almost 9,000 a card, which is pretty nice, I think. And he's gone, so. And that's my normal go-to team, unless they're faster. Well, I mean, CR is a speed leader, but there was no attack bar booster after that. So the worst case scenario would be that I can't think of his name, the Fire Sea Emperor, that he would go and do his AoE stun and stun my Lucian. He'd only be able to stun one of them too, though. So my other Lucian would be able to go get his damage on. Okay, this one again, she could be really fast, and if she's really fast, which she could be, she basically just has to be faster than him, and he's got a very low base speed. So there's a good chance she could go first. So just for that chance, I'm gonna take. I'm so used to my dex being there, but I'm on my phone, which is normally my Razalon account. So I'll bring this team, but with Vanessa leading. And my Vanessa, she's not Samath, so she has fight runes. So, poor Vanessa. That's what she's good for, holding fight runes to make your Lucians do more damage. That's her purpose. Even though Samath can do that just as well, but he can also AoE stomp everybody and come back to life and stomp them again and knock their cooldowns down, do what Zyros does. He's not overpowered at all. Vanessa's just fine. Don't worry, she's fine. Okay, again, I way overthought this, so I'm way faster than them. I didn't need to bring Vanessa at all, but I'll show you the difference in damage. See, without they're not going to have the attack power buff from Bastet. So let's focus on her or him, or her. They're both hers, I think, and see what kind of damage they do it. See, considerably less, 6,000. The one didn't even crit. And this is my weaker Lucian. See, his did like 4,000, so you can see the difference. And there's a message from my parents. While you're making the video, isn't that great? And I thought I had this shut down where it didn't show me any updates or any things like that, but apparently I don't have the settings correct. Anyways, that's fun. And at this point we just hit auto. So... and they'll eventually kill it. Just, fire against wind, not worried. So, that's some of the different teams I use. I mean, I have other teams too. Like, there's a team I'll use and see if there's any compilations that come up to that. Let's see. Ooh. What does she do? She doesn't have a speed leader, does she? I don't know what the dark one does here. Let me check here. No, just HP. Okay. Now she's a similar speed. I think she's 99 speed or 96. Alright, we're just going to take the Bastet team and see what happens. Okay. I don't think it'll be a problem. Yep, we outsped them. And you're going to see pretty much what happened in the last battles. Slow it down here so you can see the first Lucian's attacks. And that's why I like this comp. Before, my Lucians weren't that powerful, they were just really fast. So this one, they do a lot more damage, as you can see. And then, yeah, they can clean up stuff like this a lot easier. He's still a pain in the butt, but, eventually he'll die. His shield will not keep him alive so long. But that's why I'm looking at building up Azaria too, because I'm using Azaria on my Cyressa account, and she makes a really nice leader, because when they have a Rakan, or they have a Vanessa, or they have some fire monster that's really tanky and hard to kill, Azaria can kill her a lot quicker. So there's two little examples there. I'm not going to try to make this video too much longer, so let's see, what else did I want to show you guys? Oh, the towers. We'll do that in the glory shop here. Get my Devil Mon. Not enough for the Devil Mon yet, because I just powered up the other. Buy that every week, of course. Mysterious Plant, Sanctum of Energy, and you can see here the one that I just maxed out, I believe, was my Light Sanctuary. That's why it's down right now. And after that, the Dark one, and then after that, I probably won't. I don't know if I might do this one if it's really cheap, just to help my arena defense. Besides that, I'm probably not gonna do this. And it crashed.